Welcome back to the White House, where they are continuing this weekend to watch a growing national security threat. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson warning that there may be a need for preemptive military action against North Korea. Just in the past couple of hours, he said that rogue regime's nuclear program is a, quote, imminent threat to the United States. Secretary Tillerson now in China, meeting with North Korea's only ally, if you can call them that, to give us a little insight and analysis. Gordon Chang, the author of Nuclear Showdown, North Korea Takes on the World. And Gordon, this word imminent is new, something we haven't heard in a long time, as are a lot of the words we've been hearing from the Secretary of State.
Yeah, well, North Korea right now has an intermediate range missile. They can strap a nuke to the top of it, and they can hit U.S. forces in Japan. If they can't do so now, they'll be able to do that against Guam in a year or two. And, of course, there's the one threat we never talk about because we always focus on the missiles. But North Korea can take a crude device, disassemble it, smuggle it into the U.S. across our undefended borders, and reassemble it in the city of their choice, which means that the only reason why Kim Jong-un hasn't killed a lot of Americans is because he thinks it's not in his interest to do so. So I think that Secretary Tillerson is absolutely correct when he uses the word imminent.
Well, and you sort of get onto this idea of game theory here when you say it is not in Kim Jong-un's interest. And the theory behind the North Korean nuclear program, at least to our mind, has always been sort of the Saddam insurance policy. So long as I have a nuke, the regime survives forever. So following that theory out, why is this an imminent threat? If they want to survive, let them survive, and we all move on.
Yeah, well, for the most part, that's true. They do want a deterrent. But nonetheless, Kim Jong-un is, I think, losing his grip on power. He's probably more insecure than he's been in a long time. You know, in late January and February, we saw so many instances of instability. And Kim Jong-un may think that he has very little to lose. So he might try something which is really adventurous, and that could escalate into a terrible spiral. That's why we have to be concerned.
I mean, as cliched as it sounds, that Kim Jong-un decides if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out with a bang.
Yes, and Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea, actually told that to his son, Kim Jong-il, who is the father of the current leader. Now, we don't know whether Kim Jong-il told that to Kim Jong-un, but that's probably a safe bet that he did so.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, that's the mentality of this regime.
You know, you think about, at some level, these are decisions made by men about terrible things, nuclear weapons. And I'm often brought back when thinking about nuclear weapons to something that was written in the 1950s. It was a favorite of John Kennedy as it related to the Soviets. It was a quote from Captain Hart, who wrote a book called Deterrent or Defense. He said, keep strong if possible. In any case, keep cool. Have unlimited patience. Never corner an opponent. And always assist him to save face. Put yourself in his shoes so as to see things through his eyes. Avoid self-righteousness like the devil. Nothing is so self-blinding. Does that apply to North Korea in the same way? If so, are we following that theory?
Well, it applies to everybody in all our relations to other nations. Kim Jong-un, though, runs a state which a very different worldview, a very different calculus, so we do really have to put ourselves in his position. But the one thing that we have to understand, of course, is that we need to deter North Korea, and many times we haven't done so. You know, they took the Pueblo, the intelligence ship, out of international water. We didn't do anything. They shot down an Air Force reconnaissance plane in 1969, the greatest single loss of American life during the Cold War, and we did nothing. So Kim Jong-un thinks that he can push us around, and we have not deterred him in some critical respects.
Well, I wish it was a better picture that you painted. I fear that we're going to have you back once this war of words may turn into something else. I know that as you and I have talked, that's a real possibility. Good to see you, Gordon. Sorry for cutting this short because of the breaking news.
Thanks, Leland.
All right.